You are watching
Trinity Episcopal School Production Network. TESPN.
All right, welcome to our final TESPN podcast of the year, and I guess the final one of these two seniors' careers here with TESPN. We have David Jennings, he's been a Trinity Titan for 4 years. Hagan Andrew, he's been here for 5 years, since the 8th grade. And if you're a faithful watcher of our podcast, you've seen Hagan alongside me most of this year. So in this podcast, we're going to reflect these guys a little bit on their time with TESPN. We're also going to talk about some of the sports this year, athletes of the year, athletes to watch in future years, and just get a chance to catch up with two guys that really were instrumental in the success of our TESPN student-run broadcasting club this year especially. So, David, I'll start with you. You were the head of the club this year. What was your favorite part about your experience with TESPN, and what will you miss the most?
Well, it's kind of hard to say because for, pretty much my whole time at TESPN, I've been doing all the social media graphics, which, that's behind the scenes, something you wouldn't really know about. But favorite experience was definitely getting to broadcast most, if not all, the volleyball games with Hagan this year. We didn't have many viewers on those, but it was a great time to just have fun and unwind, even though I don't think a lot of games went the way we hoped. I think that was a really fun moment to have.
Well, if viewers want to go back and watch them, they might not learn a lot about volleyball, but they could learn about your top 5 rappers of all time.
Yeah, that was Hagan.
So they still might be on there on our YouTube page, hiding out somewhere. Hagan, same question for you. What was your favorite part about doing this, and what will you miss the most?
I think something's really special about broadcasts in the gym. I don't know what it is, but just with your friends in the gym, broadcasting a great sports game. I'm going to miss that the most, I think. Going after practice or something, it's a great experience.
And one of the things that was really fun about TESPN this year is we had a group of senior guys, really, you two and some of your best buddies who were very active in the club this year. I'm hesitant to start naming them because I'll forget somebody. But who was someone that you really, maybe besides each other, that really impressed you this year with their broadcasting or just what they contributed to the club, Hagan?
I think Patrick came out really big this year. He did a lot of softball games and lacrosse games, and he didn't really do it in previous years, and I think he was really good at it.
Yeah, Patrick McGowan.
Yeah.
How about you, David?
Patrick's famous call, the Titans win the Super Bowl after lacrosse game, was pretty great. I'm going to go to Tucker Tedderton in addition to Patrick. He would always, show up after practices to some girls' soccer broadcasts. I think he did 1 or 2 softball broadcasts too. He was also our student athlete of the year at the varsity banquet, and that was brought up his great contributions to TESPN. I think kind of sad these guys are all seniors because somebody's going to have to step it up next year.
Yeah, and Tucker and I did several basketball games together, and he was very good on those broadcasts. I was getting texts during the games like, who is that kid with you? He's crushing it. So yeah, Tucker's kind of good at pretty much anything he does. Music, academics, sports, broadcasting. Shout out Tucker.
Yeah.
And then, one of my favorites was when, obviously we know boys lacrosse didn't have a great record this year, but that overtime win over Seton when Patrick said, and the boys lacrosse team is now 1 and a lot. His delivery was really funny. So David, as you sort of hand over the reins of TESPN to the next crop of students, what is something you look for this club to add or improve, or just what are your hopes as you leave a legacy for TESPN moving forward?
I want to see a lot more student engagement. I think of the people who routinely came to the club, I think everyone had a great time, but I think more, tiny mic interviews or more, student section type of things during games, before games, after games. I think the more we involve the fans and the students, the better.
Yeah, I think similar, or adding on to that, I think, not just getting by. I think freshman year is a great example of, we had so much, I wasn't really, worried about getting people to broadcast games. We were able to expand more ideas. We did, time for a day stuff and whatnot. Or not time for a day, athlete of the week.
Right.
And we just had room to expand. I think, in years previous, it's been a little harder because obviously with the student engagement. So just seeing more students come out and being proactive and, not really getting by week to week, but having more room to expand and have more fun club meetings. Not that ours weren't fun.
Sometimes they were too fun, but and then I guess last thing on the TESPN front, you all both love sports, and how do you feel like this opportunity meshed with your love of sports? Obviously, not a lot of high schools have this type of a thing. I do think some are starting to add it, but there aren't really many people working in this space of having student broadcast. So as someone who just enjoys athletics, how did for lack of a better term, like the marriage between your love for sports and TESPN work for you?
Well, actually, I didn't really, overall, I didn't really love sports. I kind of mainly focused on lacrosse until high school. And so I think TESPN helped me branch out to other sports. I've played a lot more sports than lacrosse now, starting high school. And it really made me appreciate them more, I guess. Like, being able to broadcast a bunch of games and see how sports impact, each athlete's life and whatnot, I think is, really cool. And just also, it just, helps you learn, the rules and stuff. I know more about volleyball than I thought I ever would. So.
How about you, David?
I think, I've always been a massive sports fan, but I do think that, combining the community and the actual sports broadcasting was a cool part for me. And, I really got out what I put into it, making graphics for those games, but also broadcasting games, getting to see people's reactions, people texting me during the game. It was just really cool to see how much a lot of these broadcasts meant to the fans and the students, and it's a really great feeling.
Yeah, for sure. And that's one of my favorite things is when we get feedback, sometimes in real time. Yeah, I'll get a text during a broadcast, that feedback is always appreciated, even when it's hey, turn up the mics.
Yeah.
We don't hear you that well, or the screen is buffering or whatever. But also the ones that are really complimentary and definitely give you that fuel to keep going and realize that people care about what we're doing is really cool. So for any viewers, we love the feedback. Even the constructive criticism is always good to hear. Hagan, I just thought of one more TSPN question for you about the podcast, because you and I, over the course of this school year, probably did at least 20 or so where we interviewed student athletes. Which one was your favorite of the ones we did?
Okay, starting last year, I really liked the Nathan one.
Nathan Sims?
But I can't remember. I feel like I was there, but I don't know. Or maybe I just watched it. To be safe, I really liked the soccer one we did with Jack Cranston and Seth, I think. That was last year as well.
Yeah, there have been a bunch. I think the one we did with Sam Nedoff and Kanama Mitovich this spring, I really enjoyed the boys tennis one. I remember Sam describing his style of play. It was very specific, and I felt like I really just learned a lot, even as a tennis fan. So that was really cool. All right, well, moving along, you all are integral parts of this community and have been for, again, 4 years and 5 years. You've seen it all. You've seen state championship teams. You've seen incredibly exciting wins, historic moments. You've also seen some heartbreaking moments and tough losses. But as you just reflect on whether it was athletics that you participated in yourself, games you watched as a fan, student athletes, classmates and fellow Titans that you saw, just wanted to ask a few questions about your time here, really as just Trinity fans. And I think for all three of us, even though I coach and you all participate in sports, I think at our core, all of us are Titan fans. And that won't change even when you walk across the stage in a few days and get those diplomas. So, David, I'll start with you. If there's a most memorable event that you attended as a Trinity fan, what would you say it would be?
I'm going to go all the way back to what might have been my first ever game I attended as a student. Freshman year football, we opened up against Benedictine at a neutral site. I forget where it was because it was about 4 years ago.
Henrico High School.
Henrico. It was a night game. I just, socialized with all the new people I met. Blackout theme. We crowd surfed Liam O'Neill. It was a really great night. I think we got the win.
Yeah, 28-14, something like that. Yeah.
We'll have to fact check that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just an amazing time. Not to say that the other games haven't really gotten close to that, but that was just great.
You know, I would say the 2-point conversion game, state championship freshman year, but you know that's been said so many times. So one that I think not many people at all know about was freshman year's lacrosse win against Christ Church. I think it was 3 to 5 seconds left on the clock, buzzer beater dunk from Bach. Only lacrosse player I've ever seen to be able to dunk it, or at least at a high school level, and it was an amazing win.
Yeah, and Bach is, of course, Connor Erlenbach, who is one of my favorite Trinity athletes of this decade for sure. Great football and lacrosse player, playing lacrosse at Hampton Sydney, and he's a great person. So definitely miss Bach. Hope he sees this, or someone tell Bach to watch this. One of my favorite moments in y'all's time here was his last football game. About 30 minutes after the game, it's just him. He didn't know I was watching. He didn't know anybody was watching. He came back out and kissed the shield at the middle of our football field, and it's just such a poignant picture of a guy who truly bled green and blue for his school. And then you all also played sports. I mean, Hagan, you did a bunch of different sports. You mentioned lacrosse, but you played some soccer, some football. For you, what was maybe a favorite memory of a event you participated in?
I really liked the Godwin game this year. It was a scrimmage for lacrosse, and I would say not lacrosse. I really liked. This isn't really an event, but I think that I really liked just cross country meets. I only did cross country for maybe 1.5 years, but I think that it's definitely a different environment. It's kind of hard to compare to not a regular sport, but a more team sport. But I think cross country events are underappreciated.
Yeah, and you're pretty good at it.
I was. Could have stuck with it, but
yeah,
I had to dabble in soccer and football.
All right, I guess my next question was going to be your biggest regret, but I guess we already heard what that was. David, how about you? I mean, golf, of course, being your main sport. What's a highlight for you as a athlete?
I'll give you 2 as well. I want to say this entire golf year as a whole, because we had a great group of guys, really fun season. We didn't have the record we wanted, but a lot of unforgettable memories. I think the night of our senior team dinner awards ceremony thing, 1 or 2 people left, but for the rest of that, for 3 hours until it was pitch black, we were just messing around on chipping greens, putting greens, having a great time. And that I couldn't pick a better way for our season to end, and for my high school golf career to end than that. So I'd probably give it to that for the golf team. But then I actually ran 1 year of winter track, junior year, and I don't know what it was, but the bus ride home from our Woodbury meet, it was me, Liam O'Neill, Ben Schneider. I don't know where Hagan was sitting.
I was definitely there.
But we got Popeyes on the way back, and we were just cracking jokes the whole time. I think everyone else was sleeping, so we kind of felt like jerks. But we just had a really great time on that bus ride back.
Well, it's amazing when we, as the adults, the coaches, talk to our student athletes. The amount of times that the bus rides or the dinner stops are what kids remember the most about these years. And same for me. I mean, I still remember having a hamburger eating contest at a Hardee's my 9th grade year on basketball against a senior who was a lot bigger than me, and I was like, I bet I can eat more hamburgers than you. And I ate 8 Hardee's burgers. And I mean, probably felt very sick on the ride home. I think it was coming back from either Woodbury or Fork Union. But
Did
but
you win?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. This dude was 6'4", probably over 200 pounds, and I ate 8 Hardee's burgers, and he ate 4. I could have just stopped at 5, but I'd already bought them, so I kept eating them. I could not do that today, I don't think. But all right, I'm just going to end with a few. We usually typically end our podcast with a lightning round. I'm just going to ask you a few questions about Trinity Athletics, but just try and have quick answers, and we'll see how it goes, okay? So let's start with, for this school year, y'all senior year, give me a male athlete of the year.
That right. I
Okay.
think that's a solid choice.
Davion
He's injured
Brown.
for a lot of the season, but
Just a junior, but yeah, just committed to Penn State for football. Also starter on basketball.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Davion Brown too committed to Penn State, but I would throw in Isaiah Robinson too. Starter on football and basketball, going to play football at Virginia. He just really well-rounded teammate and athlete.
Yeah, I think he had a good track season as well, and certainly a great person. I think he got the Edel Travis Sportsmanship Award at the Sports Bank the other night. Awesome representative of Trinity Athletics. All right, how about a female athlete of the year?
Probably give it to Carson Beatty. Really headlined that LIS champion field hockey team.
Carson definitely. Trying to think of it.
Well, you can go with Carson.
Yeah, Carson.
Also, always Carson was a favorite, one of our favorite guests on the podcast, whether she was talking about softball or field hockey, for many years. All right, how about a rookie, newcomer, young athlete of the year that we should keep our eyes on in future years?
Definitely Reed Jones, lacrosse goalie for us this year. Saw an amazing amount of shots, and I think he got to 200 this year, which is incredible. And he's just a freshman, and I think he's going to be really, really good.
Awesome. How about you?
I'm actually giving mine to a sophomore. I'm gonna give it to Sam Beauchamp. He was either the 5 or the 6, or maybe even the 7 on the team last year. Didn't see a lot of playing time. Was working through some back injuries. Stepped into a big role this year and was our consistent number 1 for the golf team. Shot a 33 this year, which was I think 2 off of the school record. He's got a really bright 2 years ahead of him in the golf team.
And I got to add to this 2 8th graders. Cooper Beatty, first team All-State in softball as an 8th grader, which is just remarkable. And then Jeremiah Robinson, 8th grader who got significant playing time on a state tournament, 17-9 boys basketball team. Didn't start but played quite a bit, and actually the brother of Isaiah Robinson, who we talked about a minute ago. So those are definitely 2 names to watch as they essentially start high school next year, because they're only 8th graders right now. And then how about in your 5 years here, maybe an athlete who has now graduated, who's an athlete that really just impressed you in previous years?
I would say Trey Grant. Great running back. Came out to lacrosse for a little bit, but gave him the boom and couldn't come back out again. Trey Grant.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay on that football team and go to. I didn't know him well, but Trey Ferguson. I always loved watching him on the football team. Undersized, but he was a really great playmaker. Reminded me of a Darren Sproles type guy in the backfield for them, playing receiver and even line up in the backfield sometimes. I think he was just a fun, Swiss Army knife to have on the team.
For sure, and he was the star of that that game you mentioned at Henrico, that first event you attended. Now I want to say the score was 27-7, but it was something like that. But Trey starred in that game and, of course, made the play of the century later that year, catching that 2-point conversion to win the state championship back in your 9th grade year. All right, let me ask you all this one, because this is something that we sometimes debate as Trinity fans. Who would you consider Trinity's biggest rival?
I can say different stuff through my experiences. I think it's generally considered Benedictine, but there's really not much hate when we play them in golf. I think for me, it's probably been Woodbury. That was not a fun match going against them this year. I'm not going to say anything further than that, but Woodbury. But I think in general, probably St. Chris for me.
Surprised you didn't say St. Michael's, Dave. But
What me?
probably say James River is an underlooked one. We don't play them in the league, but whenever we play them for lacrosse, at least, I consider them the biggest rival. And I'm sure we play them in other sports as well. So that'd be my answer.
All right, that's interesting. All right, let's do a couple fun ones. If you won the lottery and you could give any like a massive gift of money to Trinity, what would you spend it on?
I want to say a lacrosse program, but I think I have to put it to TSPN.
All right, we'll buy that ticket.
It's an easy answer. No, I mean, I would probably do that too. I know we might have had some funding this year that went other places, or maybe next year. But yeah, I'd give a donation to TSPN for sure if I won the lottery. I think it's a great club we have.
What is your favorite pregame meal?
Well, it's not Chipotle because I had that before a match and got sick first 5 holes this year. I'd say Cane's. I go to Cane's a lot, and it's close to school, and I think it's a great like kind of protein, meal to have before a match.
I would say a granola bar like right before, but most of the time for track I try to like fast that day and then maybe have like a little granola bar or something.
All right, just let's finish off with final thoughts.
I think if anyone's interested in joining TSPN, who's watching this podcast, I think it's the best club. You should definitely join it. We actually do stuff every week. And, yeah, I appreciate my time here. Thank you, Mr. Hamlin. Thank you, Tyree. Y'all did a lot for us.
Thank you, Hagan. You stepped up in a huge way, especially this year. David, final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even been in this club as long as Hagan, actually. I think I was newcomer late sophomore year. But, yeah, I mean, this club's meant a lot to me. I really appreciate the opportunities from you and Tyree. Tyree's behind the camera. Put the camera over there, Tyree.
Hey! There he is.
But, yeah, I'm just really grateful for all the opportunities. And we could maybe try to do something like this at JMU if we can get on a broadcast. That'd be fun. I'll shout y'all out. But, yeah, I really appreciate the opportunities and memories.
Well, we'll miss y'all, and I mean, David, I remember meeting you years ago when you went to my basketball camp when I was still coaching basketball here, and you were in middle school, and Hagan got a chance to coach you in JV soccer, and you guys are great guys, and come Saturday, just welcome to the club of Trinity alumni.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all. Appreciate everyone that watched this. Fun to reflect with these guys. We will see you next year. Go Titans.